I'm Lucy and today I'm going to talk about... Okay, so before we start, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe now. So let's start with weight. Taiwanese people talk about their weight very openly and very often. And while it is definitely discussed in England as well, I think we will discuss our own weight and we won't discuss somebody else's weight in fear of offending them. Because if somebody is overweight, they know it. If you've put weight on, your clothes feel too tight and your legs rub and you feel uncomfortable. So your body is already telling you, and you probably don't need other people telling you too. In Taiwan, it is quite common for people to be called Pang Pang, Pang Mei Mei, Xiao Pang. And originally when people were introduced to me, I'd say, oh, what are their names? And one of these would come up. What does that mean? Oh, you can just call me Fatty. Huh? I would prefer not to call you Fatty. Do you have another name? Why would you accept the name Fatty? You are gorgeous, you're beautiful. You are not even fat in Western standards. So, yeah. So calling somebody fatty to their face? No! It really shocked me. And I've noticed that it is in a lot of textbooks because Taiwanese textbooks are more matter of fact rather than social related. It means that maybe they will have opposites. He is fat, he is thin. Nobody seems to teach the fact that you will not call somebody fat in a conversation. In England, we would say the word fat if we were going to insult somebody. You're a fat beep. Even if you were going to talk about somebody behind their back, you were going to describe somebody who wasn't there, you still wouldn't tend to use the word fat. Maybe you would say, oh, she's a little overweight, or she's a bit big. Even if they mention it, we wouldn't mention it. You would never say, oh, I'm standing next to the large lady. That large lady is going to knock you out. Never say it. The same as underweight. Telling somebody that they look too thin because there might possibly be a reason for that. Maybe they have an eating disorder or they're sick. So while you can compliment somebody on losing weight, we wouldn't mention if somebody is too thin. I feel like in Taiwan, weight, whether it's being too big or too small, is discussed quite openly. When I first came to Taiwan and I didn't speak Chinese, I thought, oh, everybody is so nice. Everybody says the nicest things and they all think I'm so pretty, and I loved it. And as my Chinese improved and I started to understand what they were really saying, I realized that that's not always the case. Maybe they are saying,她很漂亮. 你看到有外国人，她很漂亮. And I'll be like, oh, they're talking about me. I realized that what they were really saying was, 你看到外国人，她很漂亮，但是她屁股很胖。Oh. Now I know they're definitely talking about me. And I don't think they were talking about me in front of me because they thought I didn't understand. Now I realize they would have said the same thing knowing that I did understand, because it's quite common to talk about somebody's unattractive qualities in front of them. In my first few months in Taiwan, I made a really good friend, and she obviously wanted to set me up. And so she came to me one day and said, "Oh, I showed your photo to my brother." Oh, cringe. And she opened her messages and she said, "He said, nice face, shame about the body." And I thought, you could have extracted that last part. But she didn't, because she didn't see any insult in it. Going to the night market with another foreign friend, we found some very cute leggings that we liked, and we asked the lady for the sizes, and she said, "Oh, they're free size." Well, in Taiwan, free size does not fit all. It is not a one size fits all situation. So we were asking, oh, does she have anything similar in larger sizes? And she was like, no, these are fine. These will fit you. They are perfect. They're stretchy. You are good. You're fine. Look at you. And she was very kind and very willing to sell us these very small leggings. And then she walked around the clothing store and scanned our full bodies and stopped short and was like, "Oh, no. And she was like, "This is not the size for you." And I thought, I told you that. You don't need to tell me. Just let me know if you have anything bigger and I will happily buy it. I took my children to the park last week and a lady told me, "Oh, you've lost weight," which is nice to hear. And I said, "Oh, no, not really, no." She said, "Yes. Your thighs were so big before." I just thought, I'm sitting down. My thighs are still really big. Now I can't get up because she's going to see the truth. But that was her paying me a compliment. Wasn't all that complimentary. And years ago, I might have gone home and looked in the mirror and considered dieting. In fact, I cared so much that I did go to the Chinese doctor. But now I just laugh and I add it to the insults that I have collected over the years because I understand and I know now that it is not personal. My husband slowly understood that calling somebody fat was rude. And one day after calling myself fat, he answered with, "Oh babe, you're not fat, you're chunky." Huh? It's the same thing. It is exactly the same thing. You just used a different word to call me fat. We got through it. I tried to be mindful that this is Taiwan and of course manners are different here. But I just want us to consider that what we say can really affect somebody's self-esteem long term. Okay, that's it from me today. Thank you and goodbye.